Hey everyone, this is Christian Gonzalez, and it is week 2 of Anatomy and Physiology at Los Angeles Pacific University. This week's lab topic is histology, so our video presentation is going to focus around the 4 tissues. So we've got muscle tissue, nervous tissue, epithelial tissue, and connective tissue all on the menu. So kind of just going to work from that sort of order. Essentially muscle tissue is going to be, pretty much excitable. Excitable muscle tissue basically means that it's able to function off of action potentials. Those action potentials, are transmitted through the tissue, allowing the contractile filament to essentially function by contracting to force movement, right? So essentially from there, examples of muscular tissue are skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, or cardiac muscle, similar to what you would find around the heart. That being said, we'll go into nervous tissue. So I'd say nervous tissue pretty much functions, by transmitting information from one part of the body to another. Essentially the most, common nervous tissue we can all think of is the neuron. So essentially the neuron, allows basically the processing units, the brain and the spinal cord, to transmit information, to other parts of the body, right? So examples, would be neurons in the brain and spinal cord. Cool. So going on to that, we'll now move over to connective tissue. So connective tissue is pretty unique in that it's basically the supporting tissue for all the internal structures and organs in the body. Essentially, it's either going to be fixed or mobile, and most of it is fixed. The mobile aspect of connective tissue is blood. So examples, of connective tissue are going to be, either the loose or dense connective tissue, adipose tissue, which is, also known as fat, and that's white fat, brown fat, blood, which I said is probably the most commonly known mobile form of connective tissue. And then all the supporting connective tissue, such as cartilage, and bones, right? So those are pretty much it's a summation of connective tissue, right? And then we go into the largest sort of tissue that we've got on the docket here. That's essentially epithelial tissue, or which is also known as epithelium. Essentially it's basically acting as the protective barrier, between internal and external environments. Essentially, the biggest epithelial tissue is going to be the skin, right? So they have, epithelial tissue has 3 basic structures. And that's going to be simple squamous, simple cuboidal, simple columnar. And essentially from there, they just, go into what's called transitional, right? So transitional basically means that they're going to have multi-layers, right? So you'll have a multi-layered squamous, a multi-layered cuboidal, a multi-layered columnar. Essentially from there, they're just going to act, like I said, as barriers to protect, internal and external environments. And, examples of those could be, like I said, the skin, cavity linings, any sort of gland linings, anything that's going to prevent barrier from going into a new barrier, either outside of the body or inside of the body. Cool. So with that being said, that wraps up the histology aspect of this week's video exercise. And so again, this is week 2, and I'm Christian Gonzalez from Los Angeles Pacific University. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it.